Another episode of The Art Bros, brought to you by
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Guys, today is me, Mike, Fancy Dave,
Hey.
and Patrick.
Hey.
The original Art Bros here. And today we are talking about Mr. Félix González-Torres, who is a big artist back in the 70s, 80s, and actually died very early at the age 38 in 1996. But before then, in the early 90s, he started these projects called Candy Spills. And that's what we're talking about today on the Art Bros.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just pull up an image of this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're looking at right here.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, me and Patrick got to see this in person.
Yes.
One of the versions, I should say, because there's multiple versions of this thing.
All right.
It really is. So when you look at this, what do you see, Fancy Dave?
Candy in the corner.
Yeah.
Right.
It's candy in a corner. And remember, it's always meant to be in a corner. People look at this and they're like, well, what the hell, Mike? What the fuck? Candy in the corner? How is that art?
Mm-hmm. And there's usually a sign that says, like, please take one. So it's, like, encouraged that you're like, going to be taking this nice little sweet, like, totally different vibe from, like, your usual art museum, like, contemporary art museum go and all that. So, it's very, like ooh.
It breaks the barriers of gallery art.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into a museum, you see this candy spill, and a security guard or a sign says, please take one.
Yeah.
No, man. I think I'm going to contribute twice. I'll take two.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be that dude. Don't be like, I'm just gonna. Yeah.
Oh, can I take a couple?
Yeah, my husband's right over there. Yeah.
So, people, the thing about this piece and the beautiful thing, the thing I love the most about it is you really don't know what's going on with this piece until you learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on here is that Félix González-Torres was an openly gay artist. And he was gay in a time when an AIDS epidemic. It was really as a big problem in the world, and it wasn't getting the attention that it deserved to get. So we have an artist here who's using his art to bring awareness to this problem. The candy spill, for instance, it's always a specific weight. I believe
exact weight. Isn't it usually the exact weight of the person it's dedicated, resembling?
Yes, it's dedicated to his lover who died from AIDS complications.
Right.
That's what it was.
And there are some, you can find pictures of his partner close to death and all that, and it is just
heartbreaking.
It is, man, yeah, it's rough. It is so rough.
So the weight of the candy is always the specific weight that his lover considered an ideal weight to keep healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And because what AIDS does, it slowly kills you.
It withers
you gradually lose weight. And when you take a piece of candy, it represents the way the disease withers away at his body and at his health to the point where there's just nothing left.
It makes you feel bad for taking a piece of candy because it's like you're like the
you're
AIDS.
that dick that
takes
you're
like
AIDS,
a bunch. Dude. You're AIDS, dude, man.
Screw you.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Fuck you, dude.
The security guard should punch you in the face.
Busted, yeah. But it's like, man, what a deep, underlying, it's just...
And to use something so simple and so recognizable as candy.
Yeah.
It's you don't associate candy with death unless it's like diabetes or something.
Exactly. Diabetes.
But you don't really.
As I've been reading this, this is considered process art, right?
Yeah. It's process art.
Because it's more about the action that itself is the art itself. Yeah.
The action of... I'm assuming you mean like the viewer becoming part of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, in this case, yeah.
Yeah. I still have my piece.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, I think you ate yours.
I ate mine right away. I know, yeah, I ate mine right away.
No.
Well, I didn't have any intention of keeping mine. I was going to eat it because I felt like by eating it, that's kind of like, I don't know.
It's part of the art?
It's like part, yeah. It's like because you're like taking the weight away. You aren't like keeping it,
Yeah.
You're making the weight disappear. Which is like I think that's just reading too much into it,
No, yeah, dig deeper.
Dude, just like read between the lines, man. just
read between the wrappers.
Just read between, the delicious sugar, dude.
By the way, the Jay-Z reference, candy rapper, comes together.
Cheer, boy.
We might be drunk.
Yeah.
Mike, you are silly goose.
Guys,
yeah.
There's honestly once you have that information, this piece takes on a whole new meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is one of my favorite contemporary pieces.
When I was in my art history class and we were like starting to get into really contemporary works of art, this was one of the first ones that kind of made me go like,
your attention,
no,
right?
It's like, there's definitely something more, like.
And we got to talk about how it's so easily done. It's easily replicated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's all over the place. We saw it in Katona.
Yes.
Of all places.
Yeah, Katona, New York.
Yeah, of all places. And there's so many different versions that you guys have been seeing on this episode. There's all these different. I have a silver. No, it's a white.
It's a white.
It's a white clear wrapper.
It's white.
There's multicolored. There's one color. There's so many different. But it's not. It's not important what kind of candy it is, because there's also been like toffees too.
Yeah, I've always been curious about that. Like, is there? I know it's refilled every day.
Yeah.
Refilled by the staff every day. Which is, man, that's some good amount of work to make sure it's like that exact amount of weight and all that. Mm-hmm. So it's just like,
yeah,
it's just neat.
Like, it's interesting because it's physically it's never the same thing, really, right?
Right.
But it's the process itself that's really important.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's what your process means.
Yeah, so the physical aspect of it itself is just a means to get the people to act with the piece.
Yeah, it doesn't become art until you activate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you
a process.
Exactly, the process is pretty much, I kind of feel like it's enticing the viewer, the bystander, to take the piece, and it's almost like a unwilling action for the person to take it, because if you give something for free, someone's gonna take it, know?
Right.
It's just like, so when you kind of view it in that aspect, it's like an accidental involvement that a lot of the viewers have.
Yeah, and what this piece did for the AIDS awareness too, that's kind of the point.
Mm-hmm.
You had to get people involved somehow. You got to trick them to the
candy.
Even trick them with candy. To a point. Yeah. Don't take candy from a stranger.
Yeah,
Final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts. Fancy Dave.
So deep, man.
Yeah.
So wow.
It's heartbreaking. It really is. So much deep. So wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Very good.
Patrick?
Yeah. It's like I said, it really introduced me to like how layered a piece of work can go. Because it's seriously just no, like it's not first by like aesthetic appeal that a work of art can have, because like a lot of emphasis is, like you guys said, it's on the process, but it's like with this, it coincides with the meaning so much behind it, and it's like I said, that accidental involvement that the viewer has, which I find really cool.
Yeah, and it's such a great example of concept art.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a great example of having to know about the artist, why he was doing this stuff. The artist is so involved in this piece to the point where we saw it last year, and he's been dead for maybe 20 years now.
It's for a while.
And that, for me, like the way the piece lives on, that stays with me.
Yeah, it's like not about. It's not about the skill. Like, there's no skill.
There's no skill.
It's all thought.
Can you dump candy on the corner?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's the zombie of art pieces.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like, it's like the thought. It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Next time you give somebody a piece of candy, think about that.
You're killing someone.
All right. So thanks for joining us on this episode of Art Bros. Like us on Facebook if you haven't. Like us on YouTube, subscribe. We'll keep making these awesome episodes. Fancy Dave, why don't you play us out?
Play us out? All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Peace.